we're
women
actually
now.
diagnosing people. You know, so like oftentimes, we.
Like when people say it's an autism epidemic,
Please. Oh my God.
it's not.
Clippings, garbage.
Or like if, what was I gonna say? Oh, so if people say, well, autism's on the rise, whatever. One thing is, if you've ever had an eccentric uncle who was a hoarder, or a grandfather who, like I'm pretty sure my grandfather's autistic. He's very, very private. Sometimes he says things that are really blunt, and he's always been that way. His special interest, if he was autistic or is autistic, would be building model boats out of wood. He's extremely talented at it. He does it from scratch. But it's just something he does almost obsessively. And so just because people haven't been formally diagnosed doesn't mean that they're not autistic. So.
Like, an example would be like the fact that I waited till I was 21 to get diagnosed.
Right.
It's not because
You turned autistic.
I just turned autistic because I was what most would call high functioning. I was able to kind of slip through the cracks of the public school system where they didn't think anything was wrong. They just thought I was just the weird band kid. You know.
Interesting. Now there is a test that you can like self-test yourself. You want to tell us a little bit about that, and I'll put that in the screen.
So for people who are just kind of curious or thinking, you know, this sounds a lot like me, there's a thing called the Aspie quiz. And for people who've been formally diagnosed, we definitely think it's the most accurate free test that you can take. And it's really cool because it maps out the areas where you're most neurotypical and the areas where you're most autistic. And it basically gives you a better understanding not only of the traits of autism, but how common it is and how it is a spectrum disorder. So I think the Aspie quiz is really
Yeah, I got that last shot. Boom. I'm really into this game right now.
All right. Now that is www.rdos.net.
If you say so. I don't remember.
Yes?
I think
Question
so.
mark.
Yes.
All right, I just want to get this out to everyone. I think I might
I am
even
Ron
take
Bergen.
it. I don't know. Sounds like fun.
I mean, if you're gonna take a personality quiz about
there we
what
go.
member of, like, who from Game of Thrones you're most like, you might as well take it.
Huh. What Grey's Anatomy character are you most like? Patrick Dempsey, because he's the dead one.
Oh, that is cool.
All right, let's do this. Let's just do the other random number, and let's pick a number between 50 and 100. Harold, you always pick 17. Is that your favorite
No, it's
number?
just-
Your lucky number?
It's a good range of numbers. Usually
Isn't your
most
favorite number like 25?
my favorite number is 25.
Oh, that's an interesting.
Yeah,
one.
I love fives. I love things that are intervals of 5, and 25 is 5 times 5, so it's like.
Rule, I want you to put your number in here this time, and I'll take care of the giveaway. Excuse me, Hal. We're giving away FPS Control Freaks Infernos. They're really this cool color red, and it'd be cool to try them for free. Monkey picked 58.
He says 57.7855.
Wait, this isn't.
Think
Liz, are you
think
guessing? I'm
Rome
gonna
was
give.
just really sad about missing the sex talk.
Oh, yeah.
We can do it.
We
yeah,
can do
Roman,
it again.
Absolutely.
That's what she said.
do it again.
It is still incredibly hot in this room.
It's just because you're being blocked by that.
Damn it, woman, you're
That.
stealing all my AC.
Do you want to switch it?
I'm gonna send Rule a picture of the number that I wrote down. I don't know what Stream is doing, so let me know if you guys they're done. Pick a number between 50 and 100. Did Rule guess too?
He said no, I will not. Yeah, I don't think he did.
I think he refuses to play.
Yeah.
Alright, he's always so generous. Thank you, Rule. By the way, I don't know if any of you guys realize it, but Rule is also an expert graphic designer. He
Amen.
does work for gaming and beyond. He does other work
Like
too
the
for
Buzz
other
Lightyear
businesses,
graphic
but
Rule Designs
He's
actually
amazing.
designed
Yeah.
my Astro A40 speaker tags. My very own pink circuit
he can
boards.
do it all.
He's fantastic graphic artist. He's awesome. Great guy. So, give him your money.
Give him your money.
It'll be well spent, let me tell you that. And he's great to work with. So, as soon as we have a winner, Rule, you just let me know. Sorry, no cookie. All right, what else would you guys like to speak to?
Yay!
What? How you won? All right. I'm gonna send this in with your jersey when it comes in.
All right. Wait, when is the
All
jersey
right.
supposed to come out? When are we supposed
Nice.
to get those?
They should be done by the end of next week, and then I can mail them out. Now I'm gonna be away, so I'm hoping they'll come in before I leave. I'm like going to the shore.
We
for
always go with an interval of
another
5.
week. That's interesting.
Oh, it's it.
Well, congratulations. We got one more giveaway to do, so everybody hang out. All right. What else can you guys tell us about autism? You know what? I have a very contriversial question.
Oh, it's the
no.
vaccine question, isn't it?
It
Damn you,
is!
woman.
It is!
They don't. They don't have anything to do with autism. Much like Autism Speaks, they don't have anything to do with actual
Ooh,
autism.
apply cool water directly to burn site.
But yeah, vaccines have never actually been proven to have any link toward autism. The one study that people quote is actually like fraudulent. It's invalid, and so even that one study is
Money was exchanged.
Yeah, it's not an actual study.
Oh, that's terrible.
So
Wow, how misleading. And all these
Well,
children are not being vaccinated.
Exactly.
because
And
of
if
that?
you think of it this way, okay, if you're not going to vaccinate your kid because you're afraid it's going to cause autism, you're essentially saying you'd rather your kid die than be like one of us.
That's
I mean,
pretty...
because that's
insane.
what's happening
I'm
is
sorry.
children are
What's
getting
wrong?
Excuse-
What's worse, smallpox or like the kid's awkward?
Yeah, you know, people are getting very, very sick.
Yeah.
They're
It's
dying.
terrible.
And it's these completely preventable diseases, and it's because you don't want to run the risk that doesn't even exist of your child being autistic. And so you are sending the message to every autistic person in the world that being dead is better than being like them. And
Yeah.
and
That's
it's,
pretty
it is. It's really
Interesting.
horrible because
I never thought
yeah,
about it
it's-
like that.
It's not valid, but even if it was, I mean, I would much rather my kid.
All right.
It's kind of a dick thing to do.
I've got a question for you. Are you always born with this, or can it develop at a later age?
It's a difference in brain wiring. So, and most people believe that autism has a genetic component. So it's in your DNA, it's in your genes.
You
So-
want to see?
Puzzle pieces fall out.
Puzzle pieces fall out of wrist.
Oh, that's funny.
No.
Rock and Roma was about to ask
Yes.
that as well. Do you have any other questions,
Yeah.
Stream? Just type them right in.
But yeah, I mean, it's genetic, so you're born with it. But it can manifest a little bit later when you have to actually be social. So, what may start off as a quirk or an unusually bright child may later show up to be, you know, sensory issues and social issues and stuff like that. And like with me, I was hyperlexic. I started reading on my own at the age of 18 months old. And I was always seen as just, well, she's just really smart, so it makes sense that she's awkward. So while it might have seemed to my family that all of a sudden I was autistic and they didn't know where it came from, in reality I was born this way, and it's just a difference in brain wiring.
Are both of your sets of parents like pretty accepting of this? How did they deal with all that? How are they dealing?
So I'll start with me and then Hal can talk. But so my mother's deceased, but my father.
I'm sorry, my
Oh,
sympathies.
it's been a while, so but I appreciate it. But my father was now I think he just doesn't really acknowledge it, but at first he insisted that I was just picking up Hal's mannerisms, which was kind of rude of him. But he was just kind of insisting like, oh, don't do that. Oh, you want to do that to bond with Hal. You're just, he's rubbing off on you. And basically my dad said I didn't have it. He said, just because you're a little different doesn't mean you're autistic. Psychiatrists will try to find anything to get a paycheck. So it was pretty rough as far as my dad goes for a while. But I told him, and I kind of stuck to my guns, and I told him, look, this is how I've always felt, and now I finally had the resources to get it diagnosed, and that's just how it is. And I think now he's kind of a little bit better with it. And then I have one sister. She's 9 years older than me, and when I told her about it, she also kind of invalidated it by saying, well, I'm pretty sure we would have known something when you were growing up if you had it. And I tried to explain to her at the time that you can't always tell, especially if you grow up with that person and you're just thinking, oh, that's just how Elizabeth is. So for a while she was pretty anti-autism as well, and just kind of like, well, you're too normal again.
Your sister's pretty weird herself, though.
She's my sister. But now she's done some research and she's talked to me some more about it, and I think she's a lot more accepting and a lot more understanding just because she has more knowledge of it.
Have you healed somewhat with your dad,
I mean,
then?
we don't directly talk about it too much, but he knows that I haven't changed my diagnosis. I can't change it, and I wouldn't even if I could. And I'll post things on Facebook or whatever from time to time about being autistic, and he just kind of skims over it, but he's not hostile toward it anymore either. So, yeah.
That's a shame. Hopefully he'll come around.
Hopefully.
Some more. How about you, Hal? How does it affect you?
Well, my parents don't know. I never told them. Well, a lot of it's like,
That's quite an admission.
my parents are like I say uneducated, but like my dad never graduated high school, and my mom like barely even cared like to make good grades in school. And not that they weren't like smart or anything. That's just whatever. So my mom comes from like that generation of like, well, hard work and blah blah blah, and are like, what are you gonna do to let it bother you anyway? A lot of it is when I was a freshman in college, I dated this girl whose mom was a psychiatrist who always suspected something was wrong, whether it would be OCD or whatever. And actually, the girl